Testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, 1, 2, 3.
Password.
Yeah, new password last time.
Testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
I have
Okay,
Give it a shot.
good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome everybody to Finance Committee meeting for this evening on November 14th at 5:30 PM. Members of my committee are myself, the chair. Members are Dean Holland and Amy May, with my alderman as Cheryl Ramos. We have a couple items on the agenda this evening. Proposed ordinance 22, 2022, an ordinance by the Council of the City of New Philadelphia, of Ohio, amending the adjusting the permanent appropriations ordinance for the year 2022 and declaring an emergency. Everybody should have received this from the auditor. Does anybody have any questions about the 4 items we have there?
No questions.
No questions? Any of the other council members? Administrators?
Nope.
Okay, well, auditor, you're okay with these changes since you
Yeah.
proposed the ordinance? Okay, thank you. So can I have a motion to, I take it we need to do that quickly for you, for
Yeah.
the budget, so if we could
Yes.
add it to this evening's agenda and pass as emergency if we have enough people.
So
Motion?
moved.
Okay. Mr. Hall?
Second.
Second. Take a vote. Dean?
Yes.
Amy?
Yes.
And I vote yes also. Okay. So we will add proposed ordinance 22 to the agenda this evening and try to suspend the rules and pass on first reading. Okay, the other annual item that we do is to go over the budget for next year. Hopefully, we can go through as much as we can this evening and see what the balance is, and see what we'll need to do. I would like to at least have one reading before we suspend the rules and pass before the end of the year. This is for a permanent budget, this is not for a temporary. Has everybody received it? Okay, so I'm just gonna do, as my former council member, Rob Mauer did, we'll just go right down. If there's anybody has any questions, we'll go page by page. And if we're good with it, we'll move forward. Mayor's has, Mayor's 101-0100 appropriations. I think, Mayor, you had on your wish list, website update of $10,000
Mm-hmm.
was your item. And it was put in to 101-3400. Which there's plenty of money there. You have $40,000 there.
And then there'll be miscellaneous things throughout the year.
Correct, but just
Yeah.
get going. I was talking with the auditor, we just want to have a lean budget that we can get into next year as needed. There's no problem as a finance chair to bring it back to council to add that we need to. And as she sees how money comes in for the general fund to what needs to be done, it's, a work in progress to keep everything on. But I think it's better to have a permanent budget to allow the city to move smoothly if we can. As long as there's nothing that's out of range, which she seems to be okay with what was presented, as long as council is okay, and if they have any questions, we're good to go. So, any questions about the mayor's? I'd like to have this as a very informal, as all the council members speak up, if we can get through this as quick as we can. So, everybody good with the mayor's? Okay. Human Resource, 101-200. I think basically everything's just the same other than increase of wages and just right down the line it
Correct.
follows with the wage. Does anybody have any questions about human resource? Just share?
This isn't HR, but in general, we have a column here for 2022 expenditures. I know that 2022 isn't over yet, but is it possible to have a year-to-date?
You talk about what the previous
This middle
ordinance,
column.
she gives you that
You
monthly.
can get that on
You
the
get that
expense
monthly.
report.
Yeah, on your report.
Well, I know, but we've got a lot of zeros here, and I know they're not zeros.
I don't think, look at that, she was,
Because I didn't fill anything in.
no, she didn't fill, she was
outside the
just,
year.
she was just trying to get the 2 years, is all she was doing. And I think there was just happened to be something in that column, Cheryl. It
Just
shows-
a
shows up
zero. I
zero.
mean, it's a numerical.
Yeah, it's just, right, it's a
Okay.
holding place is what it is.
So
Evening, Dan.
we need to fill these in ourselves,
No,
the middle one.
You'll get it after the end of the year.
You get the end of the
I
year.
can't do it for you
Yeah.
now.
Right, so no year-to-date after the end of the year.
Well, yeah, it'll be year to date because the year will be over.
yeah, the year bill, but she gives you a monthly report that gives you those
Right.
numbers. Yes.
Yeah, I
But
get
when the
that.
end of the year comes, she will fill that in and then send us one with that filled in. Will you do that, Beth?
Sure.
Okay. So you'll get
I just left that
one
column in
when we
there.
get
I
there.
used the same template I've used for years.
Okay. So what I was looking at was just trying to get an over-underage of pretty close to what we're supposed to be spending.
I think.
I look as we are, she is the CFO.
Right.
She is looking at the revenue coming in that our budget can, the income can satisfy the budget she's presenting to us. That's what I think we're looking at, Cheryl. We're not trying to say they've only used 110,000, let's only give her 110,000. I think she's more fiscally responsible, that she can handle that. She's just showing a pay increase is the only thing that's in here. The rest of the line items, to me, look very small
Well, it was
increases.
just a question, not questioning
Okay.
any best fiscally responsibility, because I know that she is.
Okay, so I don't think she would present to us anything she would think would be erroneous to what is actually being spent in that department. So. Other than that, are we good with the human resource? Okay, thank you. Next is the auditor's department, 101,300.
Mine went down.
Yeah, you actually, she actually saved us money on her appropriations.
Well, I don't
But-
have a retirement coming up, so.
Yeah.
another one.
Everybody okay with that? Hearing none? Okay. Yes, Mr. Hall?
Did you say you're retiring?
No.
No, there isn't another retirement in my
I see. Okay.
So
department.
that's what they
Thank you.
raised their money from last year. Okay. The Treasurer's Department? He increased professional services. What professional services are we discussing? That we have a 50% increase in,
We use Ray and Associates.
are their rates going up 50%? I'm just questioning.
No, just periodically, are they gonna do the yearly, or are they gonna do 6 months, or are they gonna do quarterly? So we just wanna have enough money in there that's gonna be covered if anything comes up emergency that they have to go over.
Have we in the past had those type of, have you had,
Sometimes you'll have unexpected.
I can't answer that other than Tom asked me
Yeah,
to put
okay.
another 5,000 in there.
Yeah.
any other council members have any questions? Hear none? Okay. Don, only thing I ask, make sure we keep an eye on that, but if you do gonna have any extra expenditures over the what normal or anything like that, would you just please present it?
Oh, yeah.
Thank you very much. Law Director. Increases there is due to wages? Is that what it is?
That's it.
Okay. Okay. Does any council member have any? Yes, Mr. Holland?
Are your employees considered full-time?
Yes. They're not permitted to have outside practices either.
Okay.
They're considered full-time at the county, but they're permitted to have outside practices. I don't permit that.
Any questions? Okay. Prosecutor's Office.
Mr. Chairman, there's an increase in wages there, and I also had to increase professional services. The reason for the ordinance that you passed this evening is because we have exhausted our funds in professional services, and I went through, we've had 11 conflict cases recently, and of those 11, half of them are because, and I don't know, I've got to get a handle on it, I don't know if it's because there's a higher turnover rate in the sheriff's office, and we have a lot of young people in there, but we've had a pretty dramatic increase where officers are charging in a domestic violence situation, both parties with domestic violence.
Oh, okay.
Now, if you charge both parties with domestic violence, one's both the victim and the defendant.
Mhm.
And I can't prosecute both of them.
Okay.
Because we have to protect, we use our victim advocate for the thing. And the unfortunate thing is, if you, in my opinion, if you come to a domestic violence situation and you can't decide who the primary aggressor was, then you charge them with disorderly conduct by fighting, and that's it. But when you charge both of them, it ends up getting resolved as a disorderly conduct by fighting, but it causes us dramatic increases.
Would
for
you just say that
professional
instead of
services.
them wanting to do that, they're just gonna throw it on the city to handle the situation rather than charge them with fighting? Is that what you see? Is that something you could
Yeah, I'm gonna
check
have
with
to-
the sheriff? You said sheriff department. Does this, you seem
There
to
was
have any
one
of that
Philly
with the city?
case where that happened.
Okay.
And there was 3 where it happened in the sheriff's department.
Okay, just, if that's,
But that's why, and that's why we had to move some money around because, and we also had an attorney that we were using that we're not using anymore, that I went through their billing on it, and I didn't pay them what they had requested because they said they spent 2 hours on reading an entry that took me 5 minutes to read.
okay.
So I am trying to keep a fiscal arm on
Okay.
that, but that's the reason for that increase, is because we've had a dramatic increase in having to hire special prosecutors because of that situation.
Okay, I'll just put on your watch and ask.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Anybody have any question? Yes, Cheryl?
Marvin, how many assistant prosecutors are there?
There's
2.
a chief and 2 assistants.
Okay.
And then I
Thank you.
prosecute, and so does Heidi.
I,
From time
I
to
just
time.
didn't remember how many there
Yeah,
were.
that's
Thank
all
you.
right. But we're all over there from time to time.
Okay. Everybody else okay? All right. Civil service.
I didn't know what to put in there.
That's
because I don't
a
know
bunch of
if there-
zeros, I see.
I don't know
Should we put on, would that be
Greg,
Greg or
Greg.
Greg?
That would
Greg, do
be,
you see any reason that we need money in there?
there should be enough to pay the yearly fees to the 3 individuals that are on the Civil Service Commission.
Does that $1,000 cover it and then everything else below would fall into place?
Yes,
So if we put the same as last year, 2,195, you'd be okay?
yes, at this point.
Yes, and that's all we're trying to get to.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
I want to make sure everybody understands, I just want to have a budget, permanent budget at the end of the year. If we need to make adjustments, that's our responsibility as hey, if we end up having 50% less money coming in, we're gonna have to make tough decisions with the administration. I mean,
Sure.
so. Okay, so Beth, can you adjust that to 2,195
Just did.
without busting the budget? Okay. Anybody have any other questions about civil service? Okay. Council. Cheryl, what are you spending extra here?
What do I spend? I don't spend anything.
Basic wage increases, the only thing that's on there? Beth? Okay. Anybody have any problem with council's?
Does the clerk need any equipment?
Yes, do you need anything?
Yes. We are gonna make a list of a couple things we were talking about. A camera, something so we could, put the overhead projector when we have presentations, where we could actually have that on
Oh,
the.
that,
Okay, did you get any quotes? Have you got any quotes?
No, but I could make a list and try to get quotes from Sam.
Can we pay that out of the technology
Technology,
fund?
I think it should pay that out of technology fund. So can you get that,
Yes,
work on that and get that back to us? When we get to technology, we'll put some money there, just a holding place for them to get started, okay?
yeah,
Right.
I will do that.
But that's not gonna come out of council, we're gonna take it out of technology, that fund that we raise money from the towers
Okay, perfect.
and rent, okay? All right,
Question,
yes, Cheryl?
sorry, you have appropriate copiers and,
Yeah,
All
everything
that.
everything else is good. Copiers, printers, that kind of thing.
Okay, if you have any trouble, just bring it to council and we'll,
I will.
okay? We wanna give you the tools to do your job,
Thank you.
thank you. Service Director's Office. Mr. McAbey, you have any increase, I see the increase is just basically salaries. That's it? Anybody have any questions?
I want to remind everybody, we don't know what medical insurance costs us next year yet.
What did you, how much,
We won't know that till February.
did you put no additional in there for
I
now? or
think
did
I
you?
put 5%.
Okay, so there's a 5% increase in it, and whatever would be off of that, we would have to.
I didn't
She
hear.
put 5% for medical increase,
Okay.
healthcare, but that's what she put for a placeholder. As she gets the actual number, she'll report back to us,
Okay.
okay? Anybody have any questions, Service Director? Hearing none, okay. City Hall. Okay, I see $100,000 increase. Okay. Is there something on the wish list there, Mayor, that caused that, or Mr. McAbey?
We are doing the roof, the last section of the roof that is over top of the third floor office. That price is $38,000, and that is asbestos shingles. So we're going over it with a metal roof.
Okay. You got 65,000 for that, is what you have in place here?
I may have extra, because,
Yeah,
we
no,
always
but that's
say-
what, that's where I see 65,000 of that 100,000 is that.
Yep.
And then probably the rest is in your downtown snowflake lights?
Yeah, yeah. We're gonna be able to, I believe, get a few this year, but, yeah, the bulk of those will be on the, next year's budget. See them here.
yeah.
Okay,
If anybody's, and, we've been getting away with that roof. Last year it started, we patched it 3 different times, and it's got a couple times into the light that as soon as you come off the elevator, on that back side, it's got that light 3 different times. So it has 6 different, them spots, the rain spots in there. So once we get it, then we'll be able to put new drop tile in there and clean that up finally. So some of it's gonna be for tile also,
Okay.
just to tidy that place up.
and I see in here you have an additional $39,000 for raising of unsafe buildings, but do we get that reimbursed?
No,
That's not reimbursed, that's
No.
money we have to spend?
yes, yes. And Josh got that info, or what they're doing down in, I guess Denison or Yurksville, one of them, and he puts in 50,000 a year, so that's what he asked for. So I chopped it down to 40 and hopefully, but the other stuff that we talked about past the ordinance, that's still in the books as far as getting reimbursed. And we may not do $6,000 worth, but it needs to be, I believe if we go that far, we better do it, for sure.
But do you think 50 is excess, or you have 50 there now?
No, I don't believe it's excess. Not when
Okay.
not when I'm saying Denison or Yurksville is that same budget number.
Could you courteously keep us informed on how much of that you're using?
Sure.
To see what,
Yeah,
If-
again, it may
yeah.
not be, but I don't wanna go down the road of, Mr. Matthias, Mr. Schultz doing everything and saying they're gonna do that, and then we don't have the money to follow through on what we're gonna do.
okay. No, I just,
believe the
all,
key-
all I'm trying to be is just fiscally responsible, but I have no problem if the money needed.
No, and I don't think there's anything
that we-
irresponsible with
we'll
tearing
do
the
it.
house down if it needs tore down.
Right. But don't we put that against the property then, after we tear it down?
Yes, but you
So-
still gotta have that money appropriated at
No,
this
no,
time.
no, yeah, but, yeah, we appropriate, we
Yeah.
spend it, but we'll get it back if the property's sold.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what I asked first, and you said, no, yes, we do, get it back.
Oh, I thought you meant in a grant.
No, 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 no,
That
no.
grant we had
No,
out.
we put it on their taxes. and we'll
Yes.
get it.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah, we do
Okay.
the initial 2,500.
I'm okay with the 50,000, because
Yeah.
we,
Eventually.
more likely we get that money back.
Right, right.
Yes.
Correct.
Okay,
And we even get the original 2,500 back that we gotta start the process with. So we get the 25 plus the fee.
we're good,
Yes.
yeah, I have no problem with that.
Yes.
Okay. Anybody have any questions about the service? Yes, Mr. Holland?
Has any further consideration been given to moving council up and doing the reconstruction in here for health?
Not at this point. I mean, that's something we'll have to get estimates to do. Hopefully we'll be able to get some estimates next year for the following year. And we'll have to, run the idea past council too. So, but yeah, we'll come up with, some preliminary sketches, justification.
Hey, Mr. Chairman.
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Chairman, sorry about that. I thought you meant on that grant.
And that's okay, I mean, I want to get out as much information we can to everyone here, they understand, even though it's 50,000, we're not spending that 50,000, not gonna get back.
Eventually,
It's
we'll
money,
get it
it's
back.
just there so we can do what we need to do and then
Right,
replace it.
right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay, airport,
Wait a minute. I just
yeah,
have-
oh, yes, Cheryl, sorry.
Okay, on, for professional services under this 3,400 for zoning revisions, and we've got zoning revisions also under the mayor.
Yeah, we're
So-
splitting the cost.
In addition to the company that we hired.
Well,
That was
I'm
what,
taking some
30?
from my budget and then, some from the, city hall budget,
Right. So she was what, only, they were what, only
48,000,
48,000?
yeah.
Okay. And so you're anticipating, 86,000?
No.
Plus to spend on that?
Only 48.
Okay.
Oh, I
So
think what Cheryl sees, she sees it up above there too.
Yeah, yeah. That, I just
I
put
see
that,
54.
put that
and
note in there to say that the
Okay.
part of that money will be spent for the zoning.
Part of it,
revisions.
okay. All right,
That answer your question, Cheryl?
yes.
Okay. Airport,
Let me get there, sorry.
looks like you just 5,000 extra in capital improvements or anything that's there run, so
We should have some grants coming out, but I think that's later. I think you put.
That's a different fund.
that's,
Yeah,
that's clear back in,
406.
yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Everybody okay? All right. Police Department. It's a $400,000 increase. Looks like 300,000 in wages.
For- Yes, for hiring 2 additional police officers.
Is that over what we had, the extras we hired last year?
Yes.
So what would the total be from last year to this year increase? 6
The total,
or 7?
I don't know right off the top of my head, Mr. Chairman. I'd have to find that out for you.
Mayor, isn't one of those replacing a retirement?
Joe Skinner's already been replaced.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, we wanna do 2 additional and hopefully a resource officer.
Does that increase include the resource
Second
officer?
resource officer.
Yeah,
Yeah, we'd
Well,
be
the resource
paying a
officers
portion
would-
of
I
that.
thought the resource
We're gonna
officer
have to
money was coming out of that ARC money that you, or some money, that the OPO money?
The opioid money, correct?
Yeah,
right.
okay.
A portion of that, it wasn't all of it,
Yeah,
right?
portion of that would, yeah,
So that would make
Would
2
go into
resource
that.
officers or just the ones?
we would have 2,
Okay,
yeah.
and that's
So
in
the
this
2
budget?
additional would be.
And then 2 additional police officers.
Okay, now wait a minute. 2 additional resource officers
No,
and
no,
2
no,
additional
no,
police officers?
no.
2 additional patrolmen
Okay,
And then
and 1 additional resource officer that would be paid from the opioid settlement money.
okay.
Except we haven't gotten any money in months.
Yeah, it'll come.
Yes, Cheryl.
So this isn't much, but I was wondering why there's less on ammunition.
if they bought it at a cheaper price.
I don't know what
I
they,
don't
I
think
don't
so.
know how much they used last year, I don't know how much is left over.
Okay,
And also, we have a new person that's in charge of firearms qualifications, so the combination of all that could be the difference.
and then in capital improvements, there was 0 last year and 15,000 this year, for next year. Are they buying a new vehicle, or?
If we get 2 additional policemen, we'll need
You
an
have to have
additional vehicle, at least 1, and possibly 2 if we get a resource officer.
And now 15,000 is less, I mean, that doesn't pay for a police.
Well, what we're doing right
Lease.
now is we have the lease program,
They'll lease them.
and I believe that's like $4,000 a month for, plus we're still minus 1 car that we haven't got from the original lease.
Is that the one that was damaged in the,
It's
Accident?
factory, yeah. Yeah, we still haven't got that one yet.
there was an accident?
But that, the one you're referring to isn't the one that was in the accident, right?
No,
No,
He's-
he's an
he's-
additional, but they haven't got the vehicle back yet.
there, originally, when we ordered cruisers under the lease program, there was one that didn't show up. Well, they finally told us that
You're not
something
getting it.
happened to it at the factory, and, basically it was destroyed
So it'll
somehow.
hit the factory.
So, we just haven't
Oops.
received,
That's how right through.
But there was one in an accident
it,
Yeah.
in the city
if it
that,
isn't back, it should be back, I would say this week. They were almost done with it.
okay.
It's been put back together.
I like how you said that.
Yeah,
I see maintenance operation
Sorry.
is lawsuit settlement.
Where are you at?
I'm
I only
in
brought my budget, I
police,
apologize.
police department, 101, 2300, 3501. It has 26,000 for the budget, says includes lawsuit settlement.
I presume that's what it is, but that would be paid for by our insurance company, so I don't know why that was in there. You'd have to ask the
what was it?
police chief for that.
They always put 5,000 every year, and it doesn't make sense to have its own line way at the end of the budget, so.
So you just put there, is that what you did that?
Yes,
Okay, I
yes.
thought there was a lawsuit, it's
No.
settlement, and I'm going, why are we paying it next year? And why do you have it spelled out? Oh, you
No,
just
we
have
wouldn't-
money in a line item for
Yes.
that.
There's a
we're okay.
$5,000 deductible
Yeah, we're
for the
okay. I'm okay.
insurance.
Yeah, I see
but-
what she did.
But then the insurance company pays the settlements, not
Okay.
us.
Does anybody have any questions about or concerns about the police budget? Hearing none? Fire department. Okay. Fire department. Looks to me like it's up right around $53,000. And probably most of it's in wages.
Mhm.
Okay. Any questions about that? Okay. Mayor, when you, on your wish list of the fire department's 3 items, I know it's to be determined, other than the fire truck. I think the fire truck's gonna come out of 420, 5,200, 6,100. But the other 2 items you have, do you have ideas of what you were gonna try to find the money for that?
Well, for the land purchase, I'd like to hold off right now. I need to do some more research
Okay.
on that. Maybe we can appropriate that later in the year.
Okay,
And the burn building for training, we're in discussions with Buckeye on that right now. That burn building may end up down at Buckeye.
Yes.
So that's something else we'll just hold off putting in the budget right now.
okay. So you won't have any money placed in the budget for either of those items
Going
at this
into the
ti-
new
At
year.
this time?
Right.
Okay. So as things happen, that could be coming
Yeah,
off your
then we'll
list?
come
Okay.
back and
Okay.
discuss it.
Where's the new fire truck coming out of?
That's why I was looking to Beth to make sure she's verifying, 420, 5,200, 6,100, would that be correct?
Yeah, but I don't think it's
You
in there
you
yet.
didn't put it in there yet, but that's where it will be coming out of.
Right.
And just for your info, the old ladder that is sitting over there that we're not able to use, we sold it for almost 300,000.
Really?
Yes. I
So,
think there's a commission fee for that sale, but, but still, to get that much out of something that. we
better than the
can't-
100,000 you were expecting.
Yes.
So we,
Much better.
as a city, we did well to offset
Yes.
costs.
So are you taking that money, making a down payment on the new fire truck?
Well, I would assume that's where Beth will put that in, but a little bit of that will need to go for equipment for the new truck. But yeah, I would assume the rest of it will go.
It'll
as
go
a-
in Fund 420, but I think council will have to
Right.
okay that.
so, but
I was just going off what the mayor's list was of his wish list. I just wanted to make sure everybody, we talk about those items as we go through. Okay. Yes, Mr. Holland.
Is New Philadelphia being taken off of the vehicle before it leaves here?
That'll happen somewhere along the line, yes. Because it will be in working order when it leaves here. But once again, currently, we're still, who knows how many months waiting on this valve to come. So, but the place where it is going has, their council's already approved the purchase. And I think we signed the paperwork like on Friday, I think. And, but yeah, that'll happen.
The reason I was asking, I sold one to San Francisco, and 3 o'clock in the morning, I get a call from the Phoenix police saying it's sitting in front of a topless joint, and they didn't take the name off of it, it still had Tucson on it.
Where was you going?
I wasn't going
Oh,
to.
okay.
The people from San
I thought maybe you
Francisco
just
picked it up.
stopped, just happened to be there. Okay. Mr. Holland, thank you. Okay,
Live and learn.
Yeah.
So make sure that's off of there.
Yeah.
okay. Yes, please. Public Health, 101, 2700. It's down $8,000 from last year's. Looks, we went down.
Kelly, I had a question.
Yes, Cheryl?
Okay, so where are you taking that health commissioner's, salary from?
Fund 251.
All right, thanks.
Okay. Anybody have any questions about the rest of that one? Okay. Parks and Recreation. That is up $62,000. It looks like it's in. Pool repairs. Kind of a little bit here and there under pool repairs and facilities, maintenance of facilities. Do we have anything major out there, Mr.
Did you
McAbeer?
put in for the restroom?
In that part, nothing in this first part. We have naturally the, which she should have, I'm just looking here to see if you made.
It's 3501, 3502 is where I have it.
He should have in, the 437, 7,700, 55204, the $150,000 for the,
We'll get to that. I just,
Okay,
I was wondering about why the increase in the maintenance of operation and maintenance of facilities, maintenance of facilities and pool repairs.
I'm
Excuse
sure
me,
that
maintenance,
just like
and
everything, it's gonna go up.
did insurance go up that much?
I don't know about insurance, but I'm sure maintenance and anything that's gonna happen is gonna go up.
Okay. The insurance went up
I
$19,000.
didn't, we don't put anything in for
Let me see
insurance.
what we've spent this year.
Okay.
for that.
Yeah, we don't fill in the insurance.
Okay, it looks like part-time pool is also went up 20,000.
No, we only spent 16,000. Wait, no, I'm looking at the wrong thing.
He has 40,000 there.
Where would the money show up for the restrooms?
That's in
Maybe it
four
should have been
thirty-seven.
4,000.
Okay. Excuse me?
Maybe my finger got fat and it should have been 4,000.
I mean, last year you had 21,000 there.
But we didn't spend it.
Well, what do you want to put there then?
Let me look again. Oh, I'm looking in the wrong spot too.
Where are we looking now?
We're at 3,700 under the
We
park.
spent 21,000.
Okay,
And with the liability insurance, that's another two, so 23,000 total.
so you put 25,000 there, take,
Yeah.
yep. Just change that to 25,000? Okay.
Right here, 3,700 insurance.
Did you get an answer to the question why part-time pool went up 20?
I guess you're gonna hire more, pay more,
Yeah.
would be my guess.
Pay increases.
Well, that's what, we'll ask the mayor right there.
What's that?
Mayor, part-time pool, the pay increase, are you planning on trying
That went up 20,000.
to change our wages?
Yes,
Okay, is that something you'll bring to us? Okay,
yep.
all right. Yep,
So
Okay.
are the new restrooms in here somewhere?
437,
Why not?
437, when we get to 437.
All right.
We're trying to get there.
I'm trying to get through these to get to 437.
That's okay. I just
That's
asked
okay,
them
no,
where.
it's okay. Okay, everybody else okay with the park and rec? Thank you. Municipal court, pretty much, Beth, you got much to say about this one?
No,
Okay.
none of the court funds. I just put in what they tell me.
They have, looks like they have about 700,000 more.
You know, Mr. Chairman, you see on the capital request sheet that I sent you,
Yeah, she has in there,
yeah,
the first floor asbestos abatement and new vinyl composite tile flooring. First floor restroom renovations. First floor lobby and hallway lighting. And then the HVAC. Has anybody even checked on the cost
I haven't
or
received
lead
that.
time?
Haven't
of that?
received anything on that.
All right. Are you having, who you having work on that, Mr. Mayor?
Who do we have work on the HVAC?
Yeah,
I have no idea.
okay.
I would
No,
bring
no,
her
who have you,
in.
who,
I would
engineering?
bring Judge Von Allman in here.
No, I'm just asking who, or she's gonna get the
She's
personnel
gonna
to do
get
it?
Yeah.
Yep.
she'll get 'em.
Okay.
Actually, Judy.
Yeah,
Judy.
Siegel.
Judy or
Okay.
Judge Von Allman come
Yeah.
in.
What I'll do is I'll call her to see what she has. If those are all her
Yeah,
numbers?
Talk with Judy.
Yes,
Those are all, her okay,
Yes.
I'll ask Judy, okay?
yeah.
But I know we don't win. It just,
Whatever she says goes, but.
No, that's
No,
not
that's
true.
not true.
That's not true.
No.
That's why I'm telling you to bring her in.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
they
okay.
work with us.
Yeah.
okay, well, they gave you numbers of, to me, it looks like they gave you numbers of about 250,000.
Right.
Are they expecting $500,000 for the HVAC?
I have no idea.
Yeah, okay, then
You need to,
I'll
yeah.
talk to her.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
How much of the C-lock is going, that's what that was originally for, is for those repairs.
Well, I don't think we are to the C-Lock line item yet, Cheryl. When we get there, we'll be able to see. Do you want to hold that rather than say okay on the, and when have her come in?
Yeah, they
Okay.
suggested that we do, and yeah,
Well,
because that's almost $1 million increase, so that'd be nice to know why.
trying to see where she has. I don't see how it goes to 700,000 more. Because I'm looking at the subtotals.
Almost.
Beth, where, is there something could be,
Are you looking in the funds that start with twos?
I'm looking at the 101, 3,500. And then I'm looking through there trying to find where $700,000 increase would be from the 7,844,000 to the 8,500,000.
Well, the police department was a big jump.
Oh, excuse me, that's the
This one,
whole,
yeah,
that's
okay.
my fault.
Yeah,
That's, we're going, I brought all those in together. The,
That's the total.
yes, no, that's my fault. We're looking at the municipal court going from 834 to 867. I have no problems with any of that. Okay, that's my fault, Beth. I was looking at the grand total of the whole general fund, carryover and everything. Okay. All right. The only other thing that was on there was the general fund transfers, which is sidewalk program. You had 20,000 last year, and we have another 20,000 in there for the upcoming year. How much of that did we spend, Mr. McAbeer?
I'd say about all of it, didn't we, Beth?
Close to
18?
19.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was 18.9, I think, was the last number.
Did
I heard.
anybody get shut out?
No,
Okay.
no, like
All
I
right.
say, we had 1,100 left.
Okay, good.
Yeah. No, we did good.
Okay. Next one is the street department, 203, 4100.
Kelly, can I ask a question?
Yes, you may, Cheryl.
Sorry, but back to the grand total for, all of that, page 11.
Yes.
So we don't have an estimated, revenue, what, because that would be a guess, I know, but what is a guess? Enough to cover what's in the budget?
That's what she has marked down.
Mine says 0.
Cash balance of carryover is 0, but
I
she's
don't
having
have that all
appropriate.
back from the county yet,
Okay,
because they tell me how much real estate tax and stuff we're gonna get. And so, and then I add my own stuff in there, so I can't tell you right now.
okay.
But the police department has $300,000 of that 700,000 on hiring 3 new people, if that's what we do.
Yeah, I'm looking at
Yeah.
the grand total
Yeah.
here.
Well, that's where that 300,000 off.
It says we're, 8 million minus 8 million.
Right, but 300,000 of that is if the additional police officers are added,
Right.
is 300,000 of the 700.
So we don't have even a,
I
the only
can't
thing we
give-
can
I
guess
don't
is
wanna
what
give
we've
you a
had this
number
year.
that isn't
Okay,
Yeah.
close to accurate,
okay.
because I don't know what the county will tell me.
When do they usually tell you? Do you know?
Might be the end of this month.
And
Okay.
Okay, for street department, 203-4100.
The street department runs right now very close to their cash balance,
Okay.
so they don't have a lot of carryover, $100,000 or $200,000.
Okay. But their budget's pretty much the same as last year. I mean,
Mhm.
we went from 2.1 to 2.3. On,
It's 150,000 over, I mean more.
Fuel will take that up.
they got another 100, they put an extra 120 into labor from 580 to 700,000, right there alone. So. If you take the labor, they got a 3% raise. If you change that to 3% down, you could tighten it up at
3.5.
3.5.
Because right now, they're sitting with $152,000 in cash, current balance.
And then, like I said, and you're okay with the appropriations that you're setting for
Hmm.
at this time?
At the time, yeah.
Yeah. Right. If it goes under, we have to come and make decisions, right? Well, we have to listen to the recommendations of the administration, how they're gonna cut the money,
Down there.
Yeah, that's where it's at.
Okay.
okay?
Oh, I see it there.
You all right? Okay. Those next two, the highway state improvements, that's your money for your, that we do each year, and that's just money in and out, right, Beth?
Yes.
Yeah. Motor vehicle, same. Anybody have any questions about those two? How those work?
Click on enable editing.
Okay, cemetery department,
Go down. To line 537, 537. Keep going down. Do you see 537 here? Okay, here you are, cemetery. Gotcha.
I see $50,000 increase in personal service. Is there something different going on there, Ronnie?
Where's it at again? Sorry, Kelly.
Cemetery, 209, 4,500,
Uh-huh.
because everything else looks the same, except an extra 50,000
$50,000
in weight,
where?
in more, in personal services. From 384 to 436.
Yes, if you scroll down.
And the biggest looks like in labor went from
Labor.
188 to 200,
I mean, there's nobody new going there,
yeah.
so I don't know if it's just.
Is anybody
a free house.
retiring or?
Jesus.
Yeah,
There's
no,
nothing retirement.
no retirements or anything. So I can't say why that number is exactly, other than 3.5%, and he may be,
I mean, that's
Fuel.
less than, that's,
no, it's just labor.
Yeah, maintenance and operation.
I mean, I see, that's a whole new person. That's why I said, is there,
Are we looking at the same thing in labor, 1104?
1104 went from 188,000 to 221, which is $33,000
I'll
increase.
take that other person for 33 grand.
Yeah, I'm just saying that,
All day long.
that's not counting the other benefits, we're just talking straight
No,
wage.
you ain't gonna get that.
That's
Like I say, I don't know,
raises.
Kelly, it's just a
Okay,
3.5%
that's why I'm
raise.
just trying to
It
say
could-
why,
You can be at 2.5 if you wanted to, I don't
no,
know.
I'm just saying, is there a reason that, was there, that's all I'm
None that I
asking.
know of, no. Like
I
I say, it
mean-
can be 205
Just
if
a
you want it to be.
raisin.
Okay, put it to 205 then.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3.5 on 188 would be 195,000.
Yeah, so just in case, yeah.
Okay, 205,
Yeah, that's fine.
yep, that's fine.
Did he have all his summer help that he needed, or is that playing?
No, nobody has though.
Okay.
Ray never has.
Okay, law enforcement, video fund, nothing. Is there need to be any money there, or did,
There's still $324.88 in that fund, so we can put that in there for 23.
okay, we'll move that over there. 324.88 goes into the
Yep.
210, 1,000 fund.
324.88.
Okay. And that's the same thing you did with 212, 2,200,
Mhm.
okay.
Let's go to what,
Well, my vocational education, is there anything,
Oh, let me see if there's anything in there at the moment. There's $5,300 in there right now.
just want to put 2,000 over there again?
Yep.
Okay. 213, 2,400, $2,000. Sanitation fund. Went down. Not by no vehicles, I take it.
Right.
no, none this year.
Okay. Anybody have any questions about that? Okay. Safer grant. Any questions? Okay. Safety force operating, 225, 2,300. It went down also. Any questions?
Just the police side.
Yeah. At least get positive with some part of it, Beth, come on.
Well, I'm not really remembering what they, huh? So did the fire.
Okay. 225, 2,500. You got that down too, Beth.
No,
Yeah,
wasn't me.
wasn't me. Does anybody have any questions for that? Or the total safety forces, which is down $28,000 from last year?
Why is it down?
Oh,
It's because we moved money to another line item from this one?
No. Well, we had transfers last year, or this year, I should say, to make the first Safer grant whole. So that isn't in there for next year, so that helped.
Okay. Okay. Police training, 26, 2,300. Down 4,000 from last year. Electronic restraint device, down from last year, 1,300. And the opioid settlement is up from 40 to 60. And what would that money be used for?
That was for the
Resource
resource
officer.
officer.
Okay, is that where that's going? Okay.
Yep.
All right, so there's where the one officer's getting paid. Cheryl, did you get that?
Yep, that's the
Okay.
new resource
Yeah.
officer.
Out of 228.23, well, I think a portion of it, I don't think it's paying the whole wage. 228,2,300.
Funky.
Technology fund, that's the fund that we just discussed with the cameras and stuff. Do you want to put $20,000 there?
Yeah, I think that would be safe.
Okay,
Yeah, we have 31 right now.
yeah, so just put 20 over there for a holding. Not to spend the whole thing if you don't have to.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll get an estimate.
You're not going shopping on me, okay?
Okay.
What you laughing about? Anybody have any questions about any on that page? Okay.
On the police training,
Correct.
is there any opportunity through law enforcement to perhaps come up with some funding that might assist in the training facility that fire's working on?
For police,
Yes,
The burn building?
yes.
good question, Councilman Holland. That's something we've not looked at.
Well, I know good and well that they're gonna be working with, in some cases, SWAT would be out there, our SWAT team. The confinement, I can see all of that being a part of law enforcement.
Right,
I just wonder if there's anything available that might help us.
we'll look.
Okay. Income tax administration, 233,300. I don't see anything there. Anybody have any questions about any of that? Okay. Street lighting. Okay. Okay. Muni court, civil fees, zeros. Municipal court, research fund, same as last year. Any questions about them? Page 22. Okay. Municipal court, computer, same as last year. And municipal court probation fund. Looks like probation officer is where the increase, most of the money is increased. Which I think just calculates right down the road. As that goes up, the other benefits go up with it. Okay. Municipal court. Looks to me like they put $200,000 in their capital fund, which is $245, 2,400. They have the floor abatement, asbestos abatement out of there. That's the only thing I see that they have there. Why they have 200,000. Judy. They went down in special projects and they went down in, that's it. So, it's a question we can ask Judy or,
It's their money.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Anybody have any questions about it? Okay. Domestic violence, same as last year. Okay. Dispute resolution, same as last year. And this, of course, IDIAM. What would that be, Mr. Law Director?
Municipal court what?
IDIAM, administration?
Indigent.
Indigenous.
Agent defense?
No, it's 249,3,500.
I'm just the law director, not the
Yeah.
judge.
But the initials they have is IDIAM.
Did you say indigenous?
They already had that.
Indigent.
That was earlier.
Indigent, yeah.
I don't remember.
But that's their money too, and it's less than what was last
Another
year.
question for Judy.
I'll still ask Judy what that is. Okay. Public Health Fund. 251,2700.
Are they getting another mosquito grant?
Yes. But that won't come till the middle of the year.
Okay.
Anybody have any questions about?
They shouldn't need anything in audit services. I think I fixed it so that they're not audited separately anymore.
Okay.
So that could be 0.
From the $10,000?
Mhm.
Okay, so we take that down to 0?
Yes?
Okay. Line item 3404 is now 0, which makes line item of total repairs and maintenance goes to 0.
Let me text Vicky on that mosquito.
Okay.
The mosquito spraying comes out of only the mosquito grant? How does
What?
that work?
The spraying.
So if we don't have a grant, we don't spray for mosquitoes?
Well, we can't purchase the spray, right?
Interesting.
Yeah, but we get it every year, but I just want to double check here.
Okay,
I'm thinking I asked her, but I don't remember.
anybody have any questions? Yes. You have any questions? Okay, thank you. Criminal diversions is zeros. Payment plan program, 40,000.
I noticed that they don't have their wish list of restroom renovations in Fund 253.
253, 3,500, 5,900 is what I have.
Yep, they never put it in
They
there.
have $30,000 there. That's where they'd need the 106.
So should we make it 136?
53, 35.
Or do you want to wait till you talk to Judy?
Did she give you this, Mayor? What you gave me of the wish list?
Yeah, yes.
223
that's what Judy-
projects?
Yeah, she mailed that to me, Mr. Chairman.
And then she gave you the budget, and she was missing it.
Well before that.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, okay, well, she gave the budget first, then she added that, so that's why it's not showing there. Do you have a problem with putting it there?
No.
Then let's just put it right there. So, you're gonna make that 136 then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which line item, Mr. Chairman?
That'll be 253, 3,500, 5,900. And I got the restrooms on there, first floor restrooms.
What was the number
Except,
again?
wait a
The
minute, she only
the
has
bu- the dollar
$58,000.
number again was-
That might not work.
And then she's
You better
got-
ask her about that.
Okay,
160.
I'll tell her she's only has
Because the cash
50.
doesn't match
106.
up with her
106.
original.
She only has 58,000, you said? Okay, I'll ask her. Do you want to put the whole 58,000 there, though? No? Okay, I'll ask her. I'll ask her.
So how much is that supposed to be? We're
It's-
gonna ask about?
I'm gonna ask her where she wants that 106,000 come back, because she only has 56,000 in that line item.
But she only has 56,000 in cash right now.
Yeah, so she can't spend
And the
100
5,900?
in the whole, I think in her whole,
In the whole fund.
in her whole fund.
I've got 40,000. Maybe I'm looking at the wrong one.
That's the budget, but the cash, well, it's actually 58, not 56.
Okay, that's what I had, 58 wrote down.
Of course, I'll probably spend more before the year is out.
Okay, I need to ask Judy where for restrooms.
Is that the payment? No, that can't be on the payment plan. On the payment plan?
So we're not gonna okay that one, so that's what we gotta come back to. Okay. $253, 3,500, 5,900, balance 58,000. 106. Okay. So we will not sign okay on that one. So we gotta come back to that, so. Page 27 is not complete. Sea-Locks Fund. 915.
I'm assuming they have the 48,000 in there, but I don't know. In the last line. Probably.
I mean, the 50,000 in the capital improvement?
Yep.
The whole thing is down.
And they have plenty of
Yeah.
cash, so.
Do you know how much they have in cash?
I think it's two. 247,000 right now. But they always get a big deposit, like 10,000 or so every month.
Okay. She only has the first floor lobby hallway lighting coming out of there. 48,000, right? That's what you're saying?
Yep. I'm assuming it's part of that 75, I don't know.
You're right, that's what I'm gonna guess, that's what I'm gonna say. Okay. Okay, or not?
So I was asking earlier if some of her wish list was gonna come out of this fund.
It is, 48,000 is what she has put in that 5,900, which is for her lobby hallway lighting.
But you said she had a list of 250,000.
Yeah, she has, the three items she has is the first floor abatement flooring, which is 64,000. She has the first room restrooms, which is 106,000. And then she has the first floor lobby hallway lighting, which is 48,000.
And we weren't sure where the 106,000.
Yeah, that's a question I'm gonna ask, because she doesn't have 106 in that line item that she's saying to take the 106 out of. She only has 58,000.
Okay,
And Beth's saying she'll have some expenditures out there yet this year, which will take it even lower.
but there's extra in the C-locks.
Yes.
That's what she's saying, so I just
Okay.
need to ask her, is that her plan? If it is, she just needs to send it to her to tell us, but then we can
Okay.
fill in, okay? Because I'm not gonna tell her where to spend her money.
Right, I just understood that's why it was set up for her to pay for her capital improvements out
But she
there.
also has on there, to be determined, is the HVAC. That's why I was wondering, I'm gonna have to ask her where she's plans on getting, because I know lead time on that right now is probably over a year.
Probably, yeah. Yep.
So this line item is okay, so we're okay with, I'm okay with this if everybody else is okay with it. Okay? All right. The CCS, PTS, 255, 3,500.
That's grant money for them.
Okay.
They pay one person out of there.
Okay. Okay, Beth, are you gonna do anything with the TV cable franchise fees this year?
Well, I wasn't planning on it. I was planning on asking council to go back to, putting the franchise fees in this fund and let it accumulate again until we need it for something else, but not, so not have an appropriation
Right. Just let it accumulate,
and not have it go into the general fund anymore.
okay? Council have any opinions on that? We good with what the auditor's asking? I hear not, so you prepare the, is it an ordinance form that is now not being there?
yet. It will be
Okay,
before the end of the year.
you'll take care of it? Okay.
If we need to change it back.
We can always change it, yes.
Zero.
So she'll, the auditor will get the paper, the
Yep.
ordinance or resolution to the,
Yep, she gets it to me, I'll
yep,
drop
she'll
it.
give it to the law director and we'll bring it to council, okay? Okay. That'd be an
Or
ordinance or
maybe
that'd be a
you could go into
resolution?
master capital
That'd be
instead.
ordinance, because,
It'd be
okay,
an ordinance.
Well, this is
Because it'd
true.
be budget appropriations ordinance.
okay?
Pardon?
Did you ask?
Said or could go into master capital, and
Instead.
that's why I said this is true.
That's her call.
Yeah.
She's official.
I'll let you know.
She'll let us know, but she'll get the paperwork. So the legislation can be wrote up for the law director. Police and Fire Pension Fund. You got 0 in there for now.
Oh, I need to put something in there.
Okay. Okay. You, how about we stop there, Beth, and then you can get back with us? Okay, we're stopping on page 30. Everything prior to that is, we've, are okay with, except page 27, which I will get with the Judy at the courts and get her on board with where her money is. Maybe she just wrote the wrong number down for us.
Could you have her come in, maybe?
Excuse me? I
Could
could
you
have her
have
come
her
in if
come
she,
in?
yeah, I could have her come in. But if she's just basically gonna tell me, I'll have her send the paperwork to the mayor and to the law,
Yeah,
to the
no.
auditor. Yeah.
We'll distribute it.
I mean, because if I'm gonna make her come in, I'm gonna make every department head come in. Okay? So, okay, I take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Adjourn at 6:44.
All right, you're on.
Joel Day, could you please be there a minute?
You could.
Okay, good evening, and I'd like to call to order Safety, Health, and Services Committee. Originally, the committee was being called together to discuss Resolution 28-2022, which is the hazard mitigation plan of the city of New Philadelphia. This plan is required under state statute to be revised or at least looked at every 5 years. And the responsibility lies with Tuscarawas County Emergency Management. I have sent out the actual plan, all 224 pages or whatever it is, 25?
385.
Oh, 385.
Or, excuse me,
went up.
398.
That you've read.
And there was a link, that you could click on and look at the plan. All we're doing is, in essence, ratifying the official hazard mitigation plan for the city of New Philadelphia. Does anyone have any questions? Is there any action to be taken? I guess what we ought to do is look at.
I can do that since I'm the alternate, right?
Yes, you can, I'm
Okay.
sorry.
I move to put resolution 28-2022 on tonight's agenda.
Is there a second?
Yes.
It'll be a long night, isn't it?
It sure seems like that, Dean.
Okay. And we'll vote. Ms. Ramos? Ms. Ramos?
Oh, yes.
Mr. Pace?
Yeah.
And I'll vote yes. Okay, there's also two other items that were given to me last week. Resolution 34, 2022, and Resolution 35, 2022. Resolution 34, well, let's start with 35. Resolution 35 is for us to join with other entities to complete the construction of the towpath trail. Mr. Mayor, would you like to speak to that, please?
Sure, Mr. Chairman, thank you. If you look in the first paragraph of my mayor's report, it more or less summarizes the need for this resolution. We're partnering with the City of Dover, Village of Zor, the County Parks Department, and the Ohio and Erie Canal Coalition to apply for funding from the state's Appalachian Community Grant Program. If you remember, this past spring, the Ohio House, brought forth House Bill 377, which set aside $500 million from the ARPA funds that the state received for just for transformational projects in the 32 Appalachian counties of Ohio. So from that came this idea of putting together this Appalachian Community Grant Program to create transformational projects in the region. So we've been working with City of Dover, Zor, Ohio and Erie Canal Coalition since June to apply for the funding to complete the towpath to New Philadelphia. Once that would be completed, New Philadelphia would be the southern terminus of the towpath trail from Cleveland. It'd have significant economic and health and wellness impacts on our city and our county. So we need, in order to be able to apply for this funding, we need to pass the resolution tonight. Now, according to the guidelines they put together for the program, there has to be a lead applicant. The city could be a lead applicant, but because we're partnering with so many other entities, Omega, the Ohio Mideastern Government Association, will take the role as being the lead applicant for this. And what they're going to try to do is gather all the project ideas coming from this county to create one lead application to the grant program in order to try to get $250 million or $250,000 in technical assistance money to begin planning our projects. That's it in a nutshell. It's been a very chaotic process, but the bottom line is that we need to pass this resolution as part of the requirements for the application.
Are there any questions of the mayor? Ms.
Yes.
Ramos?
So, okay, the 250K for the planning process, the application to
Technical
plan.
assistance is what they're calling it, but
So,
that's,
do we have
that's-
any idea what our share would be on a project?
we would be rolled in with the other projects in the county. So the county would get $250,000 to pay for technical assistance for the combined county project. You've read today, I think in the Times Reporter, about Denison and Uricksville and Newcomerstown have a project where they want to use some of this money to upgrade the rail line that runs between the depot and the village of Newcomerstown in order to make it safer and also be able to run more excursion trains from the depot to Newcomerstown. That's another project that could be included in the county project. The county health department has a project where they would like mobile units to take throughout the county, particularly in the rural areas, to provide mental health services and also vaccinations and other public health services. So the state has never attempted to do anything like this, Cheryl, to put together a grant program of this magnitude that is transformational and giving us a deadline just to apply for these technical grants of December 9th.
Which that's just the planning stage,
That's just
right?
the planning. The development or the implementation will be next year. We'll apply for that if we get the technical assistance grant.
So we have no idea down the road, until way down the road, what our
Right,
portion would be.
right,
Okay.
yeah. Yep,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Amy's.
Okay, are there any further questions of the mayor?
Pass on first reading.
We can't.
Yes, if you would.
Can't,
Well, oh, no, we can't.
we can't, no.
So it's all right, as long as we pass it the next
By
meeting on
December
the
9th, you
24th.
said.
Yeah, yep. Actually, we're trying to get everything, so everything's submitted by December 5th.
Okay.
So that Omega has time to, do last minute things before actually sending an application in.
So you can get everything filled in, just for ready for when we can pass it on the 20th.
Well, you already have the resolution,
Yeah, we already had a resolution.
yeah. Yeah, so, Mr. Chairman, you could hold it till our next regular meeting,
Put it on tonight.
24th.
Put it on tonight.
Put it on the night.
You put it on tonight,
And
and,
we'll
yeah.
have at least two
I'll
readings.
make that motion
Put it
to
on
put
ton-
resolution 35/2022 on the agenda tonight.
For a first reading. Okay.
I'll second.
Thank you. Okay. And we'll vote. Ms. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Page?
Yes.
And I'll vote yes. Thank you. And the next item was Resolution 34. 2022. We're moving along much faster than I thought we would. I'm sorry, Julie. Resolution 34 is asking for us to approve the Stark Tuscarawas Wayne Joint Solid Waste Management District update. Mr. Mayor, can you speak to that?
Yes, periodically, the Ohio EPA requires the solid waste district to update its waste management plan, solid waste management plan. And they have done that. And this resolution is just part of the process to send to the Ohio EPA that says that the plan has been updated and that the city has received it and will follow it.
Okay. Are there any questions of the mayor?
It's a housekeeping thing, really, is what
Yeah, I
it
was
is.
gonna say it's.
Yeah.
I recall that we have done this in the past.
Yes, yes, sir, we have.
Okay, there being no questions, is there a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make that motion to put resolution 34/2022 on the agenda tonight for first reading.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
And Mr. Pace, thank you. And we'll vote. Is there any further discussion? Okay, we'll vote. Ms. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Pace?
Yes.
And I'll vote yes. Thank you. Okay, is there any other business to come before the committee this evening? Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Pace. At 6:58. Sir. And the one committee member we have left is Ms. Ramos. And myself. Mrs., I'm sorry, Mrs.
I worked hard for that,
Okay.
still am.
She tricked you. She tricked you.
Well, we won't go into that.
Must've been with that fire truck.
The ambulance committee is required to meet at least annually to review the current rates and service provided for the cost of ambulance billing. And I'd like to ask Denise Phillips to speak on this. Denise is the administrative
Oh,
assistant
no.
in the fire department and handles ambulance billing.
There it is, you got it.
Good evening.
Hi, good evening. Everybody hear me okay?
Yeah, it's for recording purposes.
Okay, very well. Just a quick update for this year for you all on the ambulance service. Through November 10th, which was last Thursday, we have had a total of 3,153 calls for service within the city and within the township for folks in our community. Of that number of calls, 1,653 of them have been billable claims to insurance companies. Just for reference, last year at this exact time, November 10th, we had run 2,955 calls. So that's an increase of just about 200 calls. The question every year for this committee is whether or not we should raise ambulance rates. My recommendation is that we not raise those rates. The federal government sets an established rate for ground ambulance claims. Regardless of what amount we bill to Medicare, they will only pay their established rate. To put that into perspective, the established rate currently for an ALS 1 call is $448.96. For a BLS claim, which is basic life service, life support, that claim is paid at $378.07, plus loaded mileage of $8.10. Again, that's through Medicare, and we receive 80% of that rate. Also, for Medicaid, an ALS call is paid at $170, and a BLS claim is $120 plus loaded mileage of $2 per loaded mile. Further justification for not raising our rates: in October of '22, the CMS, which is the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, released information stating that Medicare Part B premiums will decrease by $5.20 a month, and the overall deductible will also be reduced by $7. While that amount is certainly helpful for people, I think we can all agree that those amounts will not go very far. So after discussing all of this and other items with Chief Parrish, our recommendation is not to raise those rates. Further, for Medicare, there are changes anticipated coming in the next year or maybe two. And once we are made aware of that information, it will be shared with council and the mayor. Does anyone have any questions? Yes, ma'am?
When you bill, private insurance,
I bill private insurance.
What?
Oh, I'm sorry. Please go ahead.
yeah, you bill in private insurance. So how much do you get paid back generally? What's a percentage from private insurance carriers?
It's all about the same. They all pretty well base their rates on what Medicare does. Medicare kind of drives the ambulance transport bus, so to speak. So we're receiving in the neighborhood of about $350 for an ALS call. And that's give or take a little bit depending on the mileage that's involved. So
Okay,
it's
so-
not a tremendous amount of money.
This rate is actually a private pay rate.
We bill private insurance, we bill Medicare and Medicaid, they all get billed the same rate.
Right.
It's just a matter of what they pay to us. And it's in the neighborhood of $350 per claim for an ALS call. Our rates are listed on the resolution that you were given us.
Right. So I guess my question is, only if anybody's paying private pay out of their pocket pays the listed rate. Plus, most people have a deductible, I think, on the ambulance, right? $200, I think is ours.
No, it depends on their insurance.
Right.
It's not really a flat rate of a deductible of $200. It is based on
It
their
depends on
insurance.
your insurance
It does.
carrier.
So for our community, I bill everyone at the same rate, but
Right.
for private citizens who do not have insurance, even though they're required to, I always attempt to negotiate with them. It's a service that we provide at our fire department, and it is provided to take care of our residents. So I do attempt to negotiate with everyone. Any other questions? Yes, sir?
Can you bill Medicare and private insurance?
Not generally, so either Medicare Part B is the primary, or there's another, and Medicare would be a secondary payer. But Medicare as a secondary payer has an awful lot of rules involved with it. So it's all based on a coordination of benefits, and the primary carrier is always billed first. Sometimes that's Medicare, sometimes it's not. There are also supplemental insurances that come after Medicare, and Medicare always forwards anything that's left from the claim to a secondary carrier, who then will in turn pay us. Whatever is usually part of a deductible. So I'm hoping to simplify it, but it makes it very difficult. But Medicare as a secondary payer does not very often kick in. It's usually that primary carrier, whether that would be Aetna or, say, Prime Time, Alt Care, any of those. Does
How
that help?
often do we get paid 100% of what we bill?
Never,
Never.
absolutely never. Even if there's a workers' comp claim involved, that pays a greater portion of it, but there's always still a write-off involved.
Thank you.
Yes, sir? Anyone else? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Yes, sir.
Do we take action, Mr. Law Director, on,
Not when you're not changing it.
okay.
Nothing to be done there.
Are there anything else we need to cover? Motion to adjourn?
We need that resolution updated annually, even though we're not changing it
But we didn't I do something with that recently?
last year.
Last year.
Last year.
But every year
Okay.
we need to update it, and that's the resolution there in front of you that.
Oh, because it says for the year, calendar year.
Yes, we
Right.
just changed the date.
So we have to put a number on this? Or just change the date on the,
But the date's
what
already
he's saying,
changed.
we have to go ahead and pass this,
Yes. Yes,
so we
correct.
need a number.
Yeah, but can't come out of ambulance committee, that has to come out of safety, health and services committee. Ambulance committee can only recommend.
So our action would be to recommend to full council, resolution, but we still need a number, right?
Yeah, probably 36, that's what we're up to.
26?
36.
But you gotta wait,
36.
you're in the ambulance committee meeting now, you're not in the public safety,
Right, we're an ambulance, I'm on the ambulance committee.
but you can't make that resolution.
No, we have to make a recommendation to what, to council or to
Health
safe?
Health, safety, health, and service
Okay.
committee.
But we still need a number, is what I'm saying. And you said it was 36?
36.
Probably be 36, yeah.
I noticed that this resolution is dated 2023. So this would become
It's for next year.
in effect for January 1st, 2023.
Correct.
Yeah.
And it shows that would be
The ambulance rate for
the date that
2023.
it's actually passed. So the first meeting in January?
I don't think it matters when you pass it, I mean,
Yeah,
because the
we
rates are
can-
gonna be the same.
We
Yeah,
can
because
pass it
we've been-
before then, or
pass it
recommend
before
it,
then,
pass
and
it
we can-
on, and
Yeah.
it just becomes effective.
Okay, but on the form, it says passed.
So you have to change that, amend it. You'd have to amend it.
Well, keep in mind, I haven't actually formally
Yeah. Where
drafted
are
or
you seeing that
submitted
at,
it yet.
Dean? I'm just seeing effective rate 1/1/2023.
Okay. And so that's the motion?
My motion is to refer resolution 36/2022 to the appropriate council committee.
And I'll second that.
Okay. Yes.
And any further discussion? Okay, we'll vote. Ms. Ramos?
Yes.
And I'll vote yes. Is there anything else to come before the ambulance committee? Chief, did you have any comments?
I do not. You have any questions about?
Oh, you just want to go home?
It has been a long day.
Okay, thank you.
We're all good.
Okay. Motion,
I'm moved to adjourn.
okay, at 7:19. Thank you.
This meeting of New Philadelphia City Council will now come to order. Would you please rise and remain standing for the invocation and the pledge of allegiance? Father, you bless us with this day. Pray that we've used this day that would bring honor to you. Father, we just be with our council members this evening as we represent the city of New Philadelphia. We just pray for your guidance and direction in our decision-making this evening. Lord, last Thursday was Veterans Day. We just honor all those who have served in the military to defend our freedoms. We just thank you for your service. Next Thursday, Lord, is Thanksgiving, and we just pray that on that day we'll pause and just give thanks for the many blessings that we've had to be able to live in this country that we live in. Lord, we just ask you to continue to pray for our policemen and our firemen and those that are serving in the military. We pray for their health and we pray for their safety. We just ask all these things in your Son's name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Welcome those who are watching meeting via YouTube this evening. Welcome to our council meeting. Roll call.
Mr. Holland.
Present.
Mr. Lonzo.
Here.
Mrs. May. Mr. Pace.
Here.
Mrs. Ramos.
Here,
Mr. Ricklick.
Present.
Mr. Seldenright.
Let it be known that Mr. Seldenright and Mrs. May are excused from our council meeting this evening. All right, everybody's had a chance to read the agenda for this evening. Are there any additions or corrections? Mr. Ricklick.
Mr. President, I ask we add ordinance 22, 2022 to the agenda this evening.
Do I have a second for that? Mr. Pace, thank you. Any discussion by administration, council? Roll call.
Mr. Ricklick.
Yes.
Mr. Pace.
Yes.
Mr. Holland.
Yes.
Mr. Lonzo.
Yes.
Mrs. Ramos.
yes.
Are there any other additions or to the agenda? Mr. Holland?
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to add Resolution 28, 2022, Resolution 34, 2022, and Resolution 35, 2022 to tonight's agenda.
Oh, a second, Mr.
Point of
Pace.
order.
Correction.
Oh, 35, excuse me. I rescind that.
All right, so we have a motion for Mr. Hall, we have a second by Mr. Page to add resolutions 28, 2022, 34, 2022, and 35, 2022. Roll call.
Mr. Holland.
Yes.
Mr. Pace.
Yes.
Mr. Lonzo.
Yes.
Mrs. Ramos.
Yes.
Mr. Ricklick.
Yes.
Are there any other additions to agenda? If not, I'd entertain a motion with the, adding the ordinance and 3 resolutions to our agenda. Mr. Ricklick.
Make motion.
All right, any second? Mrs.
I'll
Ramos,
second.
thank you. Any discussion by administration, council? Roll call.
Mr. Ricklick.
Yes.
Mrs. Ramos.
Yes.
Mr. Holland.
Yes.
Mr. Lonzo.
Yes.
Mr. Pace.
Yes.
All right, agenda's been approved. All right, minutes, everybody's had a chance to review the minutes from our last council meeting. Are there any corrections or additions to those minutes? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to approve the minutes. Mr. Lonzo? Ms. Ramos,
Second.
second, thank you. Any discussion by administration, council? Roll call.
Mr. Lonzo.
Yes.
Mrs. Ramos.
Yes.
Mr. Holland.
Yes.
Mr. Pace.
Yes.
Mr. Ricklick.
Abstain.
All right, that's been approved. Correspondence, Ms. Courtwright.
To council and administration from Mayor Day. This is dated October 27th, 2022. This is an email, and it's titled Compass Point Planning's Proposal with an attachment of the agency's proposal for revising the city's zoning and signage codes. To council and administration, this is from executive assistant to administrative assistant to the mayor, Jamie Bailey. This is dated October 31st, 2022. This is the mayor's month-end report for October of 2022. To council clerk from Treasurer Gerber, dated November 1st, 2022. This is the City of New Philadelphia Investment and Savings Report for October of 2022. To council clerk from Treasurer Gerber dated November 1st, 2022. This is the City of New Philadelphia deposits to the general account for October of 2022. To council and administration from administrative assistant to the auditor, Heather Denham, dated November 9th, 2022. This is an email with the attachments, the statement of cash position from revenue and expense for October of 2022, and expense report with encumbrance detail for October of 2022. To President Kemp from Auditor Gundy, this is dated November 9th, 2022. This is an email, and it's titled Appropriation Ordinance, and it states the following: please assign to the Finance Committee. President Kemp assigned this matter to Mr. Ricklick's committee. To council and administration from Income Tax Administrator for the City, Vicki Daniels. This is dated November 9th, 2022. This is an email titled October Income Tax Report, and it has that as the attachment. And to council and administration from Mayor Day, dated November 14th, 2022. This is the mayor's report, and that concludes correspondence for this evening, Mr. President.
All right, thank you, Ms. Courtwright. All right, we'll move into our administrative reports. First up, Mayor Day.
Thank you, Mr. President, council members, fellow administrators, and guests. Three things, actually four things I want to touch on here from the report I sent you earlier today. Recommendations by a fact finder have settled 10 months of contract negotiations with the city's firefighters union. Both City Council and Local 1501 of the International Association of Firefighters have accepted the fact finder's report, which recommended the union's wages be increased by 10% over the next 3 years, retroactive to the first of this year. The city offered a 9% increase for over 3 years, which the city's other bargaining units had accepted. Local 1501 members will see their health benefit contributions increase from 5% to 6.5% per pay. And the fact finder also recommended a one-time payment of $600 in hazard pay for each member for working during the COVID-19 pandemic. Other proposals by the union were rejected by the fact finder. There's a new business coming to New Philadelphia at 261 West High Avenue, downtown. Solon's Relaxation Massage and Float Spa will have its grand opening and ribbon cutting ceremony on December 2nd at 3 p.m., and you're all invited to attend. Owners Michael and Michelle Gossett told me that the Float Spa will be the first of its kind in the area. You can visit the Solus website at www.solusrelax.com for more information. And so again, I would like you to join me in welcoming the Gossetts and Solus Relaxation Massage and Float Spa to our growing downtown business community. And also, if you haven't noticed, Modern Menswear has opened in the former Creek Clothing location at 130 West High Avenue. At its monthly meeting last Tuesday, the City Planning Commission gave unanimous approval to the preliminary plat of the Oak Shadows subdivision. During the presentation to the commission, developer Bob Martinelli showed that the plat will have 11 lots for single-family homes. The commission's recommendation will go to City Council for approval once the final plat is received by the Service Director's Office. A couple of reminders: the city's annual downtown Christmas lighting ceremony is coming up this Friday, November 18th at 6 p.m. on the Gazebo Square. Please join us. And the Christmas parade will be held Friday, December 2nd at 6:30 p.m. So bring your family and friends and enjoy the ceremony and enjoy bringing the holiday season to New Philadelphia. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Day. We'll move on to Service Director, Mr. McAbeer.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good evening, everyone. Update on Park Lane water line project. I believe that by the end of the week, by the end of Wednesday, by the end of the work week or end of the work day on Wednesday, they should be down to Lakeview. So once they get down to Lakeview, the pressure test, all the testing will have to be done. We're scheduled to start our services on Monday. So we'll do the service. I think there's 12 total out there that we'll do. Again, so that was the critical part because we need to get that paved in, and then they'll move up onto 7 Mile Drive. But for now, in North Broadway, so we've got to get that done. Again, that should be done, the completed Park Lane by the middle of next week, so hopefully get in there and get paved after the holiday weekend. Also, at the last council meeting, I updated, we had a third of our salt in. Since then, we did receive our entire allotment of the salt, so we will be ready for this season. Also, if anybody's been downtown, the gazebo quadrant, with the help of the Buckeye Career Center and Mr. Vandal's natural resource classes, all the field tile are put in. They've been cutting the band around, the dark tile are in. They started that. They did actually work Saturday and Sunday a little bit. He didn't work today, but knows that naturally that's where the lighting ceremony will be on Friday. So we, right up against it. So he's assured me it will be done. So again, if anybody's been down that way, and again, we'd like to continue that as we can moving forward. But that quadrant should be done by the end of this week. Also, we had Newton's in today, down at the end of Deer Park in the cul-de-sac. The top surface of that cul-de-sac at the end there had been torn up pretty good. It was not put down exactly correctly when it was done, when it was the first allotment. It was not done by Newton's. But anyways, they butt jointed that in, so that cul-de-sac's all cleaned up. Then they went down to 4th Drive, 100 block of 4th Drive southeast, and hit an alley there. We just got some new curbing put in. So we had the allotted money, so we did that while we was in here too. It's not, I was gonna wait till next year. So instead of waiting till next year, we finished that 4th Drive, and again, we did the cul-de-sac there down at Deer Park today. Also, general services, as always, continue to do leaves. The southeast side from Commercial Avenue down to the city limits is completed. So we'll move on to the southwest side down there. Should be done this week, I'd say, weather permitting, let's hope. Also, and then the last item I'd like to bring up, I know that Councilman Pace had asked about the grant for the skate park. And we did receive word last week from NatureWorks that we did receive $16,194 grant, and that was the entire amount for the county. I know it sounds weird, $16,194, but when you got to receive back and the Tuscarawas County came through, we received everything that was allotted for the county. So with that GoFundMe that they had out with, I forget some of the skate park folks and that, it gives a total of $22,266 to start, and then naturally we'll bear the rest through improvements through the budget, through the Parks Department. So looking forward to getting that project completed, and again, $22,000 is a good start for that. That's the end of my report.
That's probably gonna happen in what, 2023?
Yes, and matter of fact, we'll need to budget that, the 16, so, okay.
Any other question for the search director? All right, thanks, Mr. McAbeer. We'll move on to Safety Director, Mr. Popham.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good evening, everyone. Couple council meetings ago, I let you know that one of the dog handlers had resigned due to some health issues, and that we were going to try to retrain the dog to a second handler. In consulting with the dog trainer of that dog, we've been told that that dog is not a good candidate to be retrained. So Diesel will be retired, and we will have to pick up another dog. We do have money in the budget already for that from the funding and the donations that we had from last year. There's enough in there to get us another dog, so that'll be in the process in 2023. Then in the fire department, today is the last day for Alex Gaskin. He is resigning and moving on to Kent, Ohio as a firefighter medic. So we're now another person short in the fire department. Sunday, December 4th, 11 to 1, there's a drive-through toy drive. And this is in conjunction with the Job and Family Services, that these toys are being collected on that date. And then I would like to relinquish the rest of my session here to Captain Jim Schultz of the Fire Inspectors Division. He has a training device, and we would just like to kind of show everyone this device.
Hello, everybody.
Evening.
In the Fire Inspection Bureau, there's a lot of focuses we have. It all falls under the umbrella of community risk reduction, and we kind of split that up into prevention, which is what I pretty heavily do, and it's what you see me doing day to day through fire safety inspections, with enforcement of that, with some of the education we do. We do some investigations whenever there's a fire. But another thing we do is preparedness. Preparedness is where we try to reach out to the community and find out what will benefit the community the most, as far as training them to more or less let them know what to do in case there actually is a fire. These situations are difficult to do realistically. A lot of it's kind of just using their imagination and trying to talk them through it. And we've been very fortunate to get a device through Bullseye. It makes this device as a simulator for fire extinguishers. In the past, we would rely on going to a site, more or less showing them a video for 15 minutes, and then we would go out into the parking lot and we would set pans of diesel fuel on fire and let them use some old outdated extinguishers if we had some, and practice just putting out the fires. That was a difficult thing to do. It was very dependent on weather. It was also dependent on whether we can get the extinguishers. It was messy, kind of hard to set up, and quite frankly, it wasn't realistic. This system we can do anytime, day or night. We can do it indoors. It's realistic because we can put it inside of a room, and we have different stations that more or less work with the system, and they all these different stations in the system talk to each other, so they know what each other's doing, and what we can do is be more realistic. So in doing this, we've already had 3 inquiries from businesses. The first business I'm going to be doing is going to be Battle Motors. We have 300 employees we're going to teach. It's probably going to take me about 4 8-hour days to get them completely done. We're setting that up now. There's 2 other businesses that want us to do this for them, and we're going to be setting that up here in the future. But what the system entails is a fire extinguisher station, a pull station like you would see in a commercial structure. Then we have an alarm station over there with a strobe detection device. And then we have an interactive screen. The screen is more or less, it interacts with a fire extinguisher. Whenever we turn it on, let me turn it on here. The screen will simulate a fire. It'll build up. It can sense if your extinguisher is operating properly, whether it's the right distance. If it's too far, it won't work right. If it's too close, it's not going to work as well. If you're not properly sweeping the extinguisher side to side, it won't extinguish the fire, and it will re-flare up. The fire extinguisher is a real fire extinguisher, just doesn't have the propellant in it. It does have a laser that shoots out that more or less interacts with the screen and lets it know where the extinguisher's hitting the screen, and extinguishing it, it will put the fire out that's on the screen. This is going to better enable us to more or less train our community. And as I said, we've already had 3 businesses right out the bat reach out to us to do this, and that's 3 more than we've had over the last 2 years. We've pretty much, almost because of COVID, stopped doing this, mainly because people just were trying to keep distant from each other. But before COVID, we were lucky just to have 1 or 2 classes a year, and we're getting a lot pretty quick. So it's going to be a nice thing to really add for the community. So.
You gonna put the fire out?
Yeah.
This extinguisher is your, simulates a standard 5-pound ABC extinguisher.
That's pretty cool.
The trainer also works with a type of water can too, to where you can actually use the extinguishers that are for Class A fires that squirts water, and it is water resistant to where we can actually apply water to it. So it's just a pretty nice tool to have. Any questions? All right,
Thank you.
thanks.
That's all I have. That's a pretty good report, Greg.
Yeah.
Okay. I have good help.
Yeah, Greg's getting better, yeah.
That's what it's all about.
Any other questions for our chief? And appreciate you coming in tonight to share that stuff. All right, we'll move on to the auditor, Mrs. Gundy.
I have no report, thank you.
All right, one treasurer, Mr. Gerber.
No report right
All
now.
right, thank you. Law director, Mr. Fate.
Thank you,
No
Mr. President.
reports?
Very brief one. Effective December 1st, there will be a change in my office. Lacey Felix, who's been my chief prosecutor, has accepted a position to replace the late Bob Stevenson in the county. I couldn't match her, the offer they gave her. It was more money than to be an assistant law director than, I'm sorry, it was more money to be an assistant prosecutor than I make as law director in the city of New Philadelphia. So we didn't have those kinds of funds to match what they were offering her. Plus, it's less work. So it's a good move for her, and we wish her all the best. I am promoting Chris Rice, who is one of my assistant prosecutors, to that position. It's going to be one of the most seamless transitions that I've ever had. He's a fantastic prosecutor, very well respected by the courts, by the other attorneys. I have great confidence in him that he's going to do a super job, and he's well respected by our law enforcement personnel as well. I have posted the position for an assistant prosecutor, because that would open his position up when I move him to chief prosecutor. I appreciate Councilman Pace shared that on his Facebook page. If the rest of you could help us get the word out, that would be tremendously helpful. It's a wonderful position for somebody that wants to learn trial work. I always wanted to be a trial attorney. I started off in the public defender's office. I had applied in the prosecutor's office, but it wasn't a job. And it's a fantastic position for learning trial work. You're going to be very actively involved, and you're going to be benefiting your community by literally keeping the bad guys off the street. So I'd welcome anybody that has an application, or if you know of somebody, please refer them in our direction. Sure would appreciate it. In the meantime, I'll be handling more cases, and so will Heidi Sander in my office as needed. We'll be stepping up to fill that gap until we have somebody in there. So it should be pretty smooth. Are there any questions?
Can you post it again, and we'll try to share it?
Yes, I'll be happy to.
Same with Greg, you got for the drive-through toys on December the 4th. If you post that on Facebook, we can share that as well, get it out.
It is posted on the city's Facebook, but I'll share it on mine.
Okay.
And again, I appreciate Councilman Pace sharing that for me.
Any other questions for the law director? Hearing none, we'll move on to our board commission reports. Planning Commission, Mayor Day.
Thank you, Mr. President. Gave you a report on what the planning commission did at its last meeting. Our next meeting will be on Tuesday, December 13th at 1 PM here in council chambers.
Thank you. Board of Zoning Appeals, Mr. McAbeer.
The November 8th Board of Zoning Appeals meeting that was scheduled was canceled due to no variance request to be heard.
Move on to airport, Mr. Seldonwright is not here this evening. Park Board, Mr. Pace.
Thank you, Mr. President. No report this evening. We're going to be meeting this Wednesday at the Park Pavilion at noon.
All right, move on to Health Board, Mr. Holland.
Thank you, Mr. President. No formal report this evening.
All right, we'll move on to our council committee reports. Finance, Mr. Ricklick.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Finance Committee met this evening at 5:30 PM. The first item on the agenda was the proposed ordinance 2022, to adjust the permanent appropriations for 2022. After a little discussion, it was passed 3-0 to put on the agenda for this evening. The rest of the time of the meeting was used to review the budget appropriations for 2023. We got about 3/4 of the way through. We still have time left. The next meeting scheduled to try to wrap up the appropriations is November 28th.
That fire flare up again?
Yeah, that fire is up there. It's like the Gong Show, huh?
Yeah.
November 28th at 5:30 PM to try to wrap up the budget. The meeting was adjourned at 6:44 PM. Thank you. End of my report.
Any questions for Mr. Ricklick? All right, hearing none, we move on to Public Works and Economic Development, Mr. Holland. Or no, excuse me, Mr. Lonzo.
Thank you, Mr.
I'm
President. No
reassigning
report this
committees
evening.
here. No report, all right. Now we move on to Safety, Health, and Service, Mr. Holland.
Thank you, Mr. President. Safety, Health, and Services met here in council chambers at 6:45 this evening to review Resolution 28-2022, which is the hazard mitigation plan for the city of New Philadelphia. This is a resolution supporting Tuscarawas County emergency management and their efforts toward hazard mitigation throughout the county. That was discussed and passed by the committee to move to full council. And we also discussed Resolution 34-2022, which is an update of the Stark-Tusk Wayne County operation, which is required by the Ohio Revised Code and Ohio EPA. This is an update to the excuse me one moment. The solid waste management plan that we operate under. And then we also discussed Resolution 35-2022, which is a resolution to authorize Ohio Mideastern Government Association to represent the 32-county Appalachian community. It's to authorize Omega to represent us in that overall funding effort. And the ambulance committee also met this evening and recommended that resolution 36 be passed to the full council for their consideration. And those meetings concluded at 7:19.
All right, thank you. Any questions for Mr. Holland? All right, hearing none, we'll move on to zoning and annexation. Mrs. Ramos.
Thank you, Mr. President. The committee will meet on December the 12th at 7 PM to consider an annexation request.
All right, thank you. Mr. Seldwright's not here for salary. We'll move on to Cemetery Committee, Mr. Pace.
Thank you, Mr. President. The cemetery board met last Thursday here in council chambers. Just a quick update, the Fair Avenue Cemetery on the Ray Avenue side, the fence was taken out by a tree that fell in a summer storm. That was repaired and looks pretty good. So that's an update. And then at the new cemetery at Shumron Meadows, the pillars at the entrances were completed and they also look nice. So Mr. Heron's doing a pretty good job with his cemetery workers and doing a good job. That's all I have for this evening.
All right, any questions for Mr. Pace? let's see, Mrs. May is not here, so we'll move on to visitors' comments. The floor is now open for visitors' comments. Anyone wishing to address council should rise, state their name, address, and address all comments to the chair. Do we have anybody wishing to address council? If we ask you to go to the podium and
Thank you, Mr. President. Hi, everybody. My name is Todd Carper. I'm the chairperson of WDMP, Dover New Philly Radio. We're a low-power, nonprofit station in Dover. And I've been asked to come here and talk to you about, and this is Allison, our secretary. I've been asked to come here and talk to you about, ask for your help. We're at risk of losing our station because someone is petitioning the FCC to have our numbers, 102.3, put up for auction for a high-power station. Since 102.3 is our number, if a high-power station goes up, it will be gone. So we're asking, we're not asking for any money or any dollars. It's just a letter. If any of you could send letters to the FCC, there's a link on our Facebook page that will, we do a lot for the community. As a nonprofit, our mission is to help other nonprofits. To list a couple, we've done remotes for the Red Cross, blood drives, coat drives for the Salvation Army, PSAs for all sorts of other nonprofits, and we also participate in the festivals like Canal Days and Newtown Days. So if there's a little button right here that says, I want my DMP. So if you go to the Facebook page and you see the logo, the link is there, and the document has to be pre-typed and then it can be uploaded. If you're not familiar with WDMP, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
any questions for Mr. Gerber? Yes, Mr. Holland. Start with D.
Law Director.
Okay. Go ahead.
It's a fantastic station. I listen to it all the time.
Thank you.
I like the different shows you have. And I like that you announce nonprofit benefit things that are going on in the community.
Thank you.
What I wondered was, would a resolution from council be helpful and something that maybe we could consider, where we could send that to the FCC, speaking as the voice of the city of New Philadelphia and wanting to keep a local radio station in our community that benefits the community?
I could only guess as to the workings of the mind of an FCC people, but I'm sure anything that you can do would help. And that sounds like more than a personal letter from any one of you. Like as a comment, as a group voice, it seems like it would be stronger. So.
I would suggest maybe you assign that to the committee to
Yeah.
look into.
So what is the process, I guess? You're saying they put it up for bid? I mean.
Right, so it's been asked to be put up for bid, and then they want to build a 6,000 watt station, which will kind of blur us out of existence. And so it's, they're taking letters from the public. The FCC wants to hear from the public until December 8th, I think is the cutoff for that. And then they'll make a decision within the next 3 years, I guess. I'm not sure how long it takes. It could be a month, it could be a day, it could be 3 years. But, yeah, and I just know that this is all that we can do, so we're doing it, so.
All right. Mr. Holland, you had a question?
He answered my question. December the 8th is.
Right, that's the cutoff for the letter.
President.
Yes, Mr.
Todd,
Mayor
is it someone in this region
That's,
that wants 102.3?
the station that's asked to put it up for bid. It's not available currently, so that's kind of the process. It's gonna be.
Is it
put
an
up.
iHeart radio
No, it's,
station?
it is not, but it could be. Like, once it's open for bid, iHeart's certainly welcome to bid on it.
Yeah.
But the people that have petitioned for it to be opened are the new owners of WBTC.
Ah, okay.
What
I
call
see.
letters did you just say?
WBTC?
They're down in
Okay.
Uricksville.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have an AM station. 1540,
Yeah. I guess they went FM too.
yeah. So would their stick be there? Would they put a tower up there? on
Yeah,
their
they've
property?
already purchased land, so.
Okay.
And have building permits,
Okay.
so.
Any other questions? I guess I'll probably assign it to Mrs. May, the Special Contact Committee, to take a look at. And do we have your name and phone number, or we could contact you or Mrs. May?
It's on the document. Julie knows how to find me
Yes,
too.
I
Okay,
know.
all right. So I'm sure she'd want to get in contact with you, and
Yes,
so,
certainly. I can be the point person on this.
all right. Thank you for coming and sharing.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, move on to council comments. Any council member have comments this evening? Hearing none, we'll move into our legislative agenda.
Ordinance number 22, 2022, an ordinance by the Council of the City of New Philadelphia, Ohio, amending and adjusting the permanent appropriations ordinance for the year 2022 and declaring an emergency, first reading.
Is there any action to be taken by council on this legislation tonight? Hearing none, it will help our next regularly scheduled council meeting.
Resolution number 28, 2022, a resolution by the Council of the City of New Philadelphia, Tuscarawas County, Ohio, adopting the Tuscarawas County 2022 Hazard Mitigation Plan as the official hazard mitigation plan of the City of New Philadelphia, Ohio, and declaring an emergency, first reading.
Is there any action to be taken by council on this legislation tonight? Hearing none, it will be held for our next regularly scheduled council meeting.
Resolution number 34, 2022, a resolution by the Council of the City of New Philadelphia, Tuscarawas County, Ohio, approving the Stark Tuscarawas Wayne Joint Solid Waste Management District's 2023 Solid Waste Management Plan Update and declaring an emergency, first reading.
Is there any action to be taken by council on this legislation tonight? Hearing none, it will be held for our regularly scheduled council meeting.
Resolution number 35, 2022, a resolution authorizing the Ohio Mid-Eastern Governments Association, Omega, to serve as the lead technical assistance grant applicant for the Appalachian Community Grant Program in Tuscarawas County and declaring an emergency, first reading.
Is there any action to be taken by council on this legislation tonight?
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Holland.
I would move that the rules be suspended on Resolution 35, 2022.
We don't have enough votes to do that.
Never mind.
That concludes legislation for this
All right,
evening, Mr.
thank you.
President.
Thank you, Ms. Corright. Any unfinished old business needs brought before council tonight? Mr. McAbeer.
Sorry, Mr. President, I forgot that, I didn't realize that Councilman Seldenwright was not gonna be here, so I was gonna let him report on the lighting for the airport. It is completed, so there is no restrictions now, as we knew. It used to be from 6 AM on Monday morning, we couldn't get back on the airport till 5 PM on Thursday. That has been completed, and it looks great, and they're up and going, so it has been completed.
That's good news, yes.
Yes, sir.
Any new business that needs brought before council this evening? All right, hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
Mr. President, I would make a motion to adjourn this council meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Holland. Adjourned at 8:09 PM. John. Thank you, everyone. Everyone.